I want to talk about The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls documentary, episode 5 and 6 of The Last Dance in particular. These are the episodes where we learned about Michael Jordan's, some of his competitiveness, some of the problems behind the scenes, and honestly, some of his gambling. And whether that's a problem or not, we'll see. I believe that these are some of the episodes where Michael Jordan was really afraid we're going to make him look like the bad guy. More layers of the onion were peeled back. And here's about some of the issues behind the scenes on the Bulls. And you realize that not only did not everybody like Michael Jordan is not perfect. Now, we also heard about his gambling. I think that's separate and unrelated. And it honestly sounds like to me, the gambling was a hobby and kind of a competitive thing for Michael Jordan, less than it was a problem. I mean, Michael Jordan had so much more money than everybody else. I don't touch gambling. I intentionally have avoided having sponsors to do with gambling. I don't promote gambling. But even me, a guy who's very much not involved with gambling, I've never gambled, I don't really want to. I look at Michael Jordan's, quote, problem with gambling and go, is that really that big a problem? I don't know. But I'll be honest, these episodes about Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, episode 5 and 6, really just made me feel kind of bad about Michael Jordan, feel bad for Michael Jordan. I want to say it makes sense to me. The big takeaway from 5 and 6 is that it makes sense to me when people who are super famous and super rich get massive, massive homes. If you're going to get mobbed everywhere you go, you get out of a taxi, you go to a bowling alley, you go to a bar, if everywhere you go, people are going to, rush you and take pictures of you and you're going to get paparazzi'd everywhere you go, then you'd want a house where you can have everything you want without leaving. If you can't go bowling in public, build a bowling alley in your house, invite your friends over to your house, have drinks, go bowling, enjoy your night, and you do it without ever leaving your gated house you live in. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. Tom Brady having a 30,000 square foot house, when you realize, he can't go anywhere without getting mobbed, makes a lot of sense. Tom Brady or Michael Jordan cannot go out in public the way you or I can. We're more normal people. We can just go live a normal life. My favorite line of the entire series of The Last Dance for me was, everybody wants to be like Mike for a day or a week. Try being Michael Jordan for a whole year. Ooh, it's heavy. Because there's all this pressure. You have to achieve at a high level. You get mobbed everywhere you go. And again, you still have to perform on the court. It's kind of crazy. Guys like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tom Brady, they all deal with the burden of legacy. And it seems like only athletes deal with this. It seems like athletes deal with this more than any other profession. You don't see actors going out like, Leonardo DiCaprio is not concerned about the GOAT conversation. It's only athletes that deal with the GOAT conversation. Only athletes deal with this extreme pressure to worry about your legacy and what you leave behind, especially because actors can act, from a kid to death. You can act forever as an actor. You have a very limited time span as an athlete to put your stamp on your sport. Imagine trying to live up to your own legend. I really feel for Michael Jordan. The legend Michael Jordan had to live up to on a daily basis is kind of insane. How do you enjoy winning? Winning from game to game, the journey would be really hard to enjoy if you're Michael Jordan, always worried about. The reality is everything hinges on being able to win a championship at the end of the tunnel. I honestly feel for Michael Jordan. I feel kind of bad. Like, man, that's a heavy burden to live up to. Now, you get a lot of perks. He's insanely rich. He's going to have, the fame is different than money's great. I don't know that fame is actually something you'd want. I don't know that fame is this super desirable thing where you're getting mobbed everywhere. It doesn't sound like a great thing to me. Now, I will also say this, and this is kind of a separate thought. I do feel kind of bad for Michael Jordan's teammates as well. I am sure that Michael Jordan was hard to play with. He was the alpha of alphas, the top dog who would not concede to anybody. You either got to bow to Michael Jordan or else. You could not challenge him. And he was competitive at everything. Cards, golf, even playing quarters with security guards. That's got to be exhausting, not only to do. To be Michael Jordan has to be tiring. Although I guess if you're competing at it, maybe Michael Jordan felt a sense of satisfaction by constantly competing. But I'm sure that being around a guy like that, I think it'd be tiring. But also, in order to become, Michael Jordan, he had to be that kind of guy. Only a guy like that with that crazy competitive drive where every single thing was a competition, sitting down, drinking water, everything. Only a guy like that with that kind of drive dominates and succeeds at the level that Michael Jordan did. Jordan is not perfect, but again, nobody is. And honestly, I think that's kind of the tragedy of Michael Jordan is it seems like he became a larger than life figure that's really impossible to live up to. I love Michael Jordan. I think that he's often felt that burden, kind of burned by the media, where ever since the 90s Bulls, he's been, man, I can't trust the media. All they can do is hurt me. And he's right. I mean, if you're Michael Jordan, why would you ever open up to the media? All they can do, you have nothing to gain. You're incredibly famous. You're a huge brand. People love you. All you can do by opening up to the media is hurt your brand and hurt yourself. I think that the difference for Michael Jordan now, the reason why he's doing The Last Dance and even allowed this to happen is that he's got this point where he's got so much money and just doesn't care. He's older. He doesn't care. Say whatever you want. He doesn't care anymore. He's literally that rich. I'm not sure what else to say. I think the house thing is the most important takeaway from this episode, honestly. When people get mobbed by the media and mobbed by everything, it's crazy. Like the amount of money Post Malone makes or a musician makes so much more money than Michael Jordan or, LeBron James. LeBron James makes $250 million. And that's bucket loads. That's an asinine amount of money. But Post Malone makes that in like a year. I mean, he makes like so, I don't even know how to explain this, but like a musician or an actor makes so much more money than an athlete. And yet an athlete maybe has an even harder time walking around in public and getting away with things. I just don't know if the price is so steep. Your life forever. You can't go anywhere. And you may not have made, I don't know, man. Like winning Survivor is a great example where Survivor, you make $1 million. And $1 million is a lot. But you're not set for life. You're not getting generational wealth from $1 million the same way you would from, Post Malone's career. Post Malone never needs to work ever again, and his kids don't need to work, and his kids' don't need to work. Post Malone has made so much money. This is the first example I could think of. But that makes a lot of sense to me, the house thing. I get why people have gigantic, massive houses. If you can't go outside without getting mobbed, I'd want a house that has everything too without having to leave. So I'm watching 7 and 8 tonight, episode 7 and 8 of The Last Dance. I know I'm a week late, oh well, but I'm loving The Last Dance. It's really good. I know a lot of it's not new information, but it's a really thoughtful documentary series with really good information and really well-organized information and good storytelling that I really, really love. And if you haven't watched The Last Dance, I really recommend you go watch it. It's really, really great.